just mad about saffron. Saffron's mad about me. I'm just mad about saffron. She's just mad about me. They call me Mellow Yellow.
Yeah, just weak for you, baby. Just weak for you all the way around. This old heart of mine. Oh, yes, indeed. It's been around, man. It knows. And, babies, to your loving presence, it does flow, man. Here, radiating love from 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky from the spaceship Love. Yeah, we're clinging to a mountainside, poised for takeoff, man. Just radiating that love out, babies. We're sure getting a lot of it back, I'll tell you. It's a big old loop. It's a big old ever-expanding circle between you and I and everyone else tuning in too, baby. Wow. Are we doing it? Are we setting one another free? That's the card for the day, baby. That's the theme for the day. Freedom, man, you know. Freedom, you know. You already are there. You just got to realize it, man. You just got to know. That's all. Man, and then you just flow, because that is the free flow of life. You see, that's what freedom really is. It ain't just, some little empty person going around trying to fill themselves in various ways that has no restrictions. It's not like that at all, babies. That's a sloppy, three-dimensional view of it, man. And pretty empty and sorry one at that, right? No. Freedom is when you feel good inside of yourself, when you're content with your life, and you're free to be living that life to the fullest. In other words, nothing stands in your way any longer. You're unrestricted. That's freedom. When you have no restriction upon your heart, upon your conscious presence, that lives inside of you. That makes you a real being and not just some phony little two-bit player in some far out cheesy play, some little soap opera that the universe loves to tune into because we're crazy people and we just vibe nuttily and they just love it. They're just delighted every time we turn around, fall down, get back up, whatever, man. They just love it. Boy, I tell you, talking about this old heart of mine, feeling fine. Man, when I began to see the dynamic of the universe and why so much was at play here and why there were so many players, etc., when I saw the universal connection and how greatly admired and feared humanity was for a long time, how greatly admired we are now as we disprove every fear that all of the scalawags scattered throughout the universe may have had about us, Of course, right along with that comes some startling and divine revelations as to whom and what the governmental types, the secret dudes and dudettes that have been screwing around with stuff they never had any business with and thinking they were dealing with some devious and kind of dumb ETs, etc. Oh, shit. But they've met the peaceful ones too. They know the feeling of real love because behind that scene is the angels. The angelic realm are the ETs, man. They've created that whole thing as a part of the matrix to divinely fool one another once again into doing the right thing. Whatever that might have been. The heart was free to find it. And it did. In this kind of devious sort of way. And now all that dark magic that these people have practiced for so long is kind of unraveling. But as it does, they learn to laugh. They learn to smile. They get the joke, finally. They understand why they've been so misled and how they haven't been misled at all. They just thought they was doing something totally different than what they were. But the reality is that, all energies flow in a singular direction, like the river. The water can't turn around and flow back upstream unless there's an earthquake or something, or a big old high tide or something pushing it. Without that, it don't flow anything but steadily towards the sea. Well, baby, some people have tried to create high tides and so forth, tsunamis. They really wanted to see an end of it. It was just something so empty and then they couldn't stand. They were hurting so bad they thought they had to put that hurt out in everybody else. You see, that's what happens. You're so numb to that hurt, too, that you don't even know that's where your coldness comes from. You just are fascinated with the way it resonates through you, just cold as ice. You know, yet you're just perfectly comfortable there. You just love dancing in that coldness, you know. There's a free feeling in that. That's why you're doing it, right? You love being that divinely evil. You think of yourself as evil, and nastily so. You like it. You see? There's love in it. How about that? And now this old icy illusion you've lived in, the delightedly evil place, that illusion just dissolves. I mean, how can you be evil when you're just totally heart? How can you be unconscious when you're just totally life? How can you be, you know, at war with anyone when you feel nothing but peace within your own presence? That's the change, babies. That's the reality, the truth that's coming forward now as the illusions that we've dealt with. And babies, they've been severe, dissolve away. You won't believe what happens in this life, day to day, moment to moment. You know, we were talking just a bit ago about living in that moment, which is birth, death, life, all at the same time, man. It's all the same thing. I realized this just recently, that birth and death are the same. Because, you know, I've been around both a bit. But in this lifetime, death, I visited a few times. I just had to get to know it really well, you know, so that I could see that that transition is the same thing as this transition that brings you in. It's all a motion of love. All of it. And we live in that singular moment and create the experience from it. Just like there's a what do you call that thing at the middle of the flower, in the middle of the blossom? That nice little nug in the middle of the blossom, babies? That's where we are, man. From us the flower grows, and all the blossoming of, you know, not just humanity, but creation comes forward from that little nug at the center of the flower of the universe, which is us and our Mother Earth together. You know, we're the old spiral torus, expanding ever outward into creation and being delightfully so in love with life that this old heart of ours can do nothing but see the flow of love in all of it and see the direction of it as we experience past lives. Remember little moments, you know, and sometimes it startles you because you can't think such things of yourself. Well, in this lifetime, you got to remember you're a completely different person. Every lifetime you live, it's a completely different mix, completely. Yet the same soul presence can be in it, you know. So you do have that little base core of person that goes in every life. And that becomes your experience, and each life becomes a part of the longer thread that you're actually living as you're birthing and dying and weaving in and out of the perceived dimensions. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? That's how you create the tapestry of life and leave all this colorful experience behind you for everyone else to enjoy at one point or another. And yes, I said enjoy. Because babies, in our most miserable times, the soul is so delighted to be able to experience such misery that it knows nothing but utmost joy in its misery. It's an amazing dichotometric thing, yet it's the coyote medicine, and it is the coyote way. You see, in the strangeness is the reality. You have to think outside the box, learn to look beyond the illusion, the system's requirements, and all the fixed dimensions here, you know. It just doesn't exist that way. I kind of compared it one time to a snowflake that comes down and lands on your hand, man. And there's all that intricate geometry and everything that makes it, and besides the crystalline magic, that makes it perfectly its own snowflake. Out of all the uncountable billions, trillions, and going on from there, quadrillions, I guess. Anyway, just uncountable number of snowflakes coming down. This one has its own personal energy, its own personal self, just like all the other frozen raindrops around it. But as it sits in your hand, it begins to experience, if the weather's half decent, your hand ain't froze, it begins to experience a melting and a joining with your reality. The liquid comes forward and the solidarity dissolves away. And the liquid flows, and it flows. Some of it flows into you through your skin, and some of it flows off of you back to the earth and nourishes her. Yet it's still got that same little geometric uniqueness that it had as the snowflake. Only now it's a flow, and it can be a divided flow. It can go anywhere it wants, or it can flow together, because ultimately it always does. That's the direction of the flow. It's always to the ocean, always to the sea. S-E-E, the ocean of love, where we S-E-E everything and everyone, and just merge and grok with life forevermore. That's the source of the divine and contented orgasm that expands creation beyond fathoming into the grandest forms of experience now, because we have anchored ourselves in an earthly reality, something that seems to have material and matter to it. And we've brought spirit now to energize that, to re-energize that, to bring us out of the game, out of the movie, and back into the reality, but to bring this curmudgeon of a reality with us, only just the basic elements, the really beautiful stuff that we've kept here in our heart, that's kept us going throughout our own little so-called age of darkness. Understanding now that these ages may not exist anywhere except in memory, that in fact perhaps it's all just been a divine dream. You know, these are the things we're considering now as we're coming back to life, and our conscious experience is expanding beyond the fixed reality and all the requirements of it. That's why I say screw the rules, man, out the window. Just be and do. As long as you're not harming anyone, just be and do as the heart says. That's the rule. And you won't violate anything that's reasonable at all. Not ever. You'll be in the harmonic flow of life. And you'll find even in this human existence that it can work in harmony. You'll be amazed at what you see on the freeway one of these days. You will actually see an end to the chaos there. You will see a presence of divine intelligence and order such as you've never seen in traffic before. And then the traffic dissolves and dissipates because nobody needs it anymore. By the time we're to those stages, you know, teleportation and everything, creation and all the things we can only suggest with our technology now, you know, and see the direction that it's pointing, you know, to ultimately being able to create just by the flick of a finger. Well, you won't even have to flick your finger anymore as you know, expand into this conscious presence of creation and realize your part there as the divine vessel, the gateway of love that you are. You see, your heart is highly creative. It has the intelligence of the entire universe within it. And the flow of love comes to you and goes through that heart and expands it greatly, because the heart is made of nothing but pure love. It's limitless. It expands greatly, you know, and then becomes again that contented divine orgasm that spreads life forward in creation in a deeper, more basic and feeling way. We've anchored ourselves in the organic way, but we've energized it with the energy of the sun, the spirit, the heart. The soul presence is the gathering of all of this energy together, and it becomes in union now with what we call the flesh once and forever. But of course it enlightens that as it creates that union. And understand now, this is just a perceptional thing, something that we're seeing happening to ourselves, which is really bringing us back to our righteous truth, that moment of birth and death, where all is perfect. And your soul presence is so conscious and so present and so full of life and so ready for everything that is, and so in love because it is so loved by the universe around it. Any of you have been to death moments, you know that feeling. The love that comes to you as you start to depart your body. You know, holy shit, guys. Nothing in this life compares to it just yet, but we're starting. We've got a damn good start on it, baby. Thanks to our angels and ancestors, the ancestors especially, for carrying it through some pretty harsh and brutal times, baby. We've kept the love alive. Sometimes just by entertaining ourselves sexually, we've kept the love alive. Sometimes just by sitting down and having a cup of coffee with a person that seemed like an old friend that we didn't know from anywhere. Sometimes just simple moments, a glance, can be such a phenomenal sharing of energetic love and so pure recognition. Bam, 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 bam. Radiates, reverberates through the universe when moments like that occur. You know, when hearts see each other down here in the trenches, man, you know. and remember one another in that heartfelt sort of way. Even though in the conscious presence of the mind, they may not be able to experience it that way. They know something happened. They feel it. Part of the price we pay for being here is, we never were able to function fully conscious, no matter who we were or how enlightened we became. We were always only an inkling of what really could be, just a mere shadow of it. That's all we could get. But it was pretty damn good now, wasn't it, When we get it, see, we live such a pure life that there is no need for regulation or anything really. We don't need manufacturing and distribution. We don't need transportation, agriculture, the things that we've so endured here, the things we've created, thinking that's what we had to do. You get along with Earth was just take. Those attitudes gone, along with all of the industries and so forth that they embrace. It just dissolves away. It's the greatest part of the illusion that we ever had to dig the dirt or sweat one drop in order to be alive and be a human being and get through it. We didn't have to do any of this. We chose to be that way because we like the divine aspects of the darker experience. We wanted to know what that was. We wanted to feel grit, so that when we came as spirit presences, we'd be real. When we rose up to what we're supposed to be, we would have a very solid root in the grit from which life all arises. We would understand the consciousness of, reversals and extremes and so forth. We would have a basis from which to appreciate that which we now possess in fullness, which is the heart's ever-loving conscious presence. The reality of the truthful being that we are, Each and every one, a divine little angel. No two ways about it. Just ask your mama. She'll tell you. So old Grandpa Coyote here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. Now this Donovan fella's been sitting around over there in the green room and he's getting kind of restless. We got to turn the guy loose a little bit. So Donovan, take it away. Help our little heart understand and expand and just fly away, babies, into the sky and share that wealth of love. Hi. So says Grandpa.
I'm just mad about saffron. Saffron's mad about me. I'm just mad about saffron. She's just mad about me. They call me Mellow Yellow.
What was it? Oh, Facebook. Yeah, I get them all confused. Sometimes I start sending messages to people on eBay, and it should be Facebook. But anyway. We're just rolling along with it as easy as we can, trying to keep it all straight while it's twisted as all get out. Yeah, it's Twisted Tuesday here on the Coyote Medicine Show, which means we're untwisting and unraveling more than just a little bit this morning. My goodness, we've been going through it like, the shit's been flying from the fan, man. Let me tell you, it's been really grand. I tell you, slam. I got to tell you what happened to me yesterday. I was like, I got this computer that I bought. It's a fancy thing. It's really incredibly powerful for what I do audio-visual wise, And so it was just perfect, except now I'm moving off grid, and I don't need a big old clunker desktop like that. So I'm selling it, and I put it on eBay, and I got a good price for it. So yesterday I had this sound card I wanted to put in it before I shipped it, I thought no problem. I cracked the case open and started trying to slide that sucker. Next thing you know, I'm cutting up my hand, and then I slipped and busted a couple transistors off my graphics card, which is really a wham bam thank you ma'am really fancy one, and I wound up, now I got to replace that, and I don't know what I'm going to do about the eBay thing. I guess I'm just going to have to offer the guy his money back and tell him I'll relist it, that I'm fixing it, but shit.
Oh boy.
Unless I get lucky this.
Talk about Koyote medicining yourself big time.
I do it all the time. I do it all the time. I was talking earlier about a time I went out and rode my bicycle in a windstorm from hell, you know. It's like riding in a hurricane or something, you know. I do things like this all the time in my life to challenge me. But gosh, I wish I could be a little more present and catch it ahead of time.
I'll send you the energy to ground you and keep you
Keep me right there.
Well,
Well, you're a sweetheart. By the way, guys, this is Rashmi KHILNANI, world famous author, spiritual leader, you know, and divine assistant of the mother's heart, and a great representative thereof. She's written more books than I can count. Let's see, 1, 2, 2, 2. I guess that's it. And she's also co-produced on a movie called I, God, which, you know, I haven't seen the whole movie yet, but I saw the trailer, and it's righteous, man, you know, and I really think, and she's also a star in her own movie, too. Of course. Why not? You're the producer. You get to be the star. But one of the stars. Yeah, it's got a multiverse of what you'd call spiritual leaders in this world, expressing their ideas and concepts and so forth. I'll bet there's a thread that goes through it. I'd love to have seen the movie because I can feel it already. I'll bet there's a thread that goes through it that just winds it all together and displays the true reality of creation in some way, right? I know you're clever like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's the view of many different people on the path of, you know, what do you feel God is? Is God inside you, outside of you? Is there a heaven and hell? What is the purpose of life? What does God want from us? And so, you know, hopefully by the end of the film we hear many different voices of religious leaders and spiritual leaders, you know, quantum physicists, shamans, energy master healers like myself, and also people off the street. And I think the stars of the film are the, you know, the interviews on the people on the street that are just speaking spontaneously from their hearts. It's absolutely powerful.
I love it. That's where the heart really is. People on the street. That's the reality we live with. What's happening on the street, that's what's happening everywhere else. I really like that. That's beautiful, darling. Glad you were able to do that, put that together. That's an incredible accomplishment, huh?
Well, I suddenly had a calling, you know, I work for the Ascended Masters, and they are me, there's no separation, and so I work closely with my avatar, Babaji, who was mentioned in Lost Bible, if you're a yogi, he's the Christ yogi. He's the Ascended Master who is here to take 7 billion into Christ consciousness, unity consciousness on the planet. Anyway, so it was when I always say, you know, go to America, make spiritual film. And then I bumped into Woody Allen, and face to face, I said, let's make a film, Woody, spiritual film. And he said, oh, you're Bollywood people, you steal all our films. You know, he thought I was a Bollywood queen or something, I don't know what. And anyway, I said, give me a number, so he did. But he's got a bit senile, and I don't know, the number wasn't right. And then Bob Friedman, my friend, student, and co-producer of iGod, suggested my publisher as well of my books, that I make this film with Neil Donald Walsh. So I said, well, I have to go and meet Neil Donald Walsh and see if I want to, you know, feel the energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how it all started.
Wow. How cool is that? That you can't, yeah. And then you assembled, like I said, pretty much the who's who of the New Age movement, as well as like a whole bunch of people on the street. I love it, man. I can feel the divine nature of it.
Babaji said you'll make the spiritual film, and I didn't. And he said you'll go and help the awakening of the spiritual leaders of America. Now, at the time, I was working on Menador, one of the fathers of the New Age, and he has taken Babaji's teachings to the West and then introduced the modern age Kriya Yoga, which is rebirthing, and written a book called Breaking the Death Habit and many other books. He has 10 million students. And Babaji wanted me to be his healer and go with him across the globe, so he started introducing me as a channel, strong channel and energy of the Divine Mother healing energy. But I didn't know these other spiritual leaders in America, so I said, well, whatever. And then it all started unfolding, and, you know, Neil got all the people, like, you know, Mariam Williamson, Deepak Chopra, Greg Braden, James Von Prague, Alan Cohen, Debbie Ford. The late Debbie Ford was amazing, and I was behind the camera asking the questions in Chicago, and they all were in the film, you know, just you know, free. So, now the films come out, and of course there's still challenges because I bring in the goddess energy into this film, and most of the team are men, Bob is a man, Neil is a guy, so are the sons, Jonathan and Max, his sons are award-winning directors, etc. But the thing is, we have this male-female energy in all of us, and but, for 26,000 years, Grandpa, as you know, the male energy of domination, control, etc. has been strong.
Fear.
And in a way, these New Age teachers are like the new priests on the block.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I've always, as a teacher of Reiki masters across the globe, and I teach 20 modalities of energy medicine, I've really gone out of my way not to have entourages, not to have people follow me, and to empower people as quickly as possible to make me obsolete as the teacher so that they come into their own mastery. And that's the goddess energy, the allowing energy, the empowering energy, the co-creative energy. And so I would really like that the film being co-creative process, and that they don't take the female energy and, try and sidetrack it. Because it's not an ego game, but, I was sent specifically to bring in this goddess energy for the film. And that's nothing to do with male or female.
Cool. Yeah, of course not, and people often confuse that issue, when they speak of, because we are experiencing what I would call an arousal of the divine feminine in consciousness all across the globe. And because of that, a lot of people think that's the arousal of the woman as the unit of power. Well, honeys, if you experience this kind of divine awakening and this kind of love, this spirit heart of the mother, you're not even going to think in such concepts anymore. You'll know your feminine as well as your masculine, the divine spark of both inside of you in complete union. You won't feel about love the way you do right now. You'll never, ever again in your life be desperate for another, ever, because you'll have the fullness in you. That's just the way it works. That's real love, see? So it pulls us beyond such conceptions, such divisionary conceptions as gender, even though we remain delightfully so in our genderic presence.
But it's so important for the spiritual leaders right now, and I include all our listeners that are spiritual leaders. Our listeners are people that are healers and teachers in their own right. Grandpa, you have many leaders as your friends on Facebook, so do I, and our following. And ultimately, we're all following each other because this new energy is not about one being above the other. We're all equal, we're all sailing in the same boat. And so this male domination aspect, this patriarchal aspect that continues in the New Age movement needs to come to an end. And either it will, or people like myself will speak up. We will speak up.
Absolutely.
And we will expose what goes on behind the scenes, because just to be a good messenger is not good enough anymore. We have to embody. And I don't mean being perfect. None of us are perfect. Grandpa, we were just laughing about that just now. We make mistakes all the time. But you and I, we have golden hearts. That means that we are always considering not just ourselves, but everybody around us.
Oh, and we're
part of the same energy.
We're conscious of those hearts too. That's the difference. We're very conscious of those hearts. That's why they move so freely through us, because you and I both are very conscious of that golden nature of the heart. And we actively and yes.
And in the duality. So, either these teams are going to understand that it is important to keep the co-creative energy going, or whatever their projects are, no matter how much they think they're going to succeed, those projects will not succeed.
No.
Now, this sounds very strong coming from me because, I've just popped this baby I got. I promised Babaji Mahavatar to write a book on Shiva and current time, on the Buddha speaking here now to us, and on the Divine Mother Energy speaking to us, Egyptian Mystery School, all the wisdom teachings made simple. Those 3 books will happen. I promised that I would help IGOT to happen and round up the spiritual leaders of America and people off the street to speak. And that has happened. But this project cannot succeed until all members of the team are honored, because that is not an ego thing. That is to do with, you cannot take the feminine energy anymore and shove it aside, or for the women to do that to the men. It doesn't matter who's doing it to who. This is a co-creative process. And if they don't follow those energies, then those energies will destruct, because that is the dance of Shiva that's going to happen on the planet.
Absolutely.
3D reality is crumbling. This fight and flight and competition and me against you ain't gonna work no more.
No, not at all. This exploitation. See, this is what it boils down to, because you feel like you're the authority, whether you're male or female, it doesn't really matter. You can exploit.
Yeah.
You can exploit the others. See, the whole conception of exploitation is
Power,
based
absolute
upon.
power, corrupting, absolutely.
Yeah, because
So,
why? Because you
yeah.
feel so damn empty inside. You feel useless. So you're
Well,
just
also because,
compensating.
the
You're
new priest,
compensating. You know.
the new priests on the block, they feel they have the power of the pen, they have the power of spirituality, and to misuse these energies, to misuse spiritual energy, to misuse the power of the pen. My dad was the editor of the Times of India newspaper, the largest, newspaper was the largest democracy on the planet. So,
Yeah.
but you don't misuse that energy, you use it really carefully, and you include everybody that's in the teams.
Of
It's
course.
really important for all of us to do that.
Of course.
Honor each other.
Of
Honor
course.
each other.
Whether we agree with one another or we see each other as distant aliens, it don't matter. We at least owe one another respect. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It doesn't matter where we stand in the scheme of things in each other's eyes. It doesn't matter at all. We got to get off this. Well, first, if we get off the self-critical, then we don't have all these stupid exploitive needs anyway. And then we see each other with a more even eye already, That's what it's going to take here, people, is you have to let go of this misconception that you've got to compensate in this world for everything you feel short in. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Humility, as I put on Facebook the other day, either we are all going to come to humility, or life is going to bring us, because the current energy is not going to allow that old energy anymore.
That's true.
And so
That's true.
The people, it's so important now for people to get that. And so, I was the angel seed investor of this firm. Now, it was only $25,000. I told the roof over my head to do these jobs. The last 7 years I've lived in hotels. I've given up my homes. I've given up my partners. I've given up whatever it takes to do the job for the raising of consciousness on this planet. And many others are doing this job. Nobody is higher or lower. But, if the people in the team don't honor that aspect, and now that they are in control and in power, if they misuse that energy, whoever it is, it ain't going to work.
Honey, that kind of power, I think, has its days very numbered and very limited, because the people that exercise that kind of power right now are becoming more conscious, whether they like it or not, whether they embrace it or not. They're becoming empowered in a heartfelt sort of way. I know you're seeing the evidence of it, because there's going to be some real conflict if this arises in these
I'm seeing conflict right now. I'm seeing, I'm quite surprised. I'm quite surprised.
But see, that's part of
people are trying to sidetrack you. Once you've done the job, they want to distract you. Now, you see, the point is that anybody could have spent that money. I was sent for a reason. I was sent because I carry that frequency, and I was going to be able to carry that through.
Yes.
Irrespective of who threw what at me, because I've helped in the co-creation of golden ages in Egypt and before, as have all of us, except some of us have forgotten,
Yeah.
As a pioneer, I'm just remembering a bit sooner than some of the other people, but everybody is going to re-remember or self-destruct. It's a choice.
Yes, absolutely, but I don't see. I don't see.
Absolute the way I'm saying it.
I know, and I don't quite see it as self-destruct. I see, the illusion will destruct, but the person, you got to recognize in these beings that deal with such difficult energies and are so dark and so cold and so deadly, that it takes an incredible soul to be able to experience such an opposite of what we really are. And so the most durable of hearts are there behind the scenes, behind the shadows and the darkness. There is an angelic presence of incredible power. See, so as we ourselves continue to work inside of ourselves and bring this energy forward, it automatically translates to them, and they come to those states of consciousness. And when they reach that tipping point, babies, you are going to see saints arise from the pits of hell, the very pits of darkness. I've seen this. I've seen it coming. I think it happens between now and.
As you said in the last show, that was so beautiful when you shared that you had this incredible experience of light and this darkness came to get you, to kill you, and the way you overcame it. I asked many people this question after the show that we had, that, how do you overcome that if the darkness is coming for your throat and you don't know what to do? And, people give different answers. Some of them say we chant the name of God. Well, that's great. To its ultimate level, which is that you gave it total love. And this is the energy I'm holding right now. It's taking a few steps back, which is a bit of a shame because this is a time to gallop with this and really get it across to the globe. But I'm taking a few steps back and sending a lot of light and love to the teams so that they come into the current frequency, but that can only be within free will and the higher good. We can't force them to, but we can still, as you say, that is so beautiful.
Well,
hold the
it's
love
not.
energy and send the love energy.
It's not so personal as it may seem. So you're not really forcing anybody to anything because of the collective way that we are. It's just merely allowing increases in consciousness, and that stomps out the difficulty. I mean, it just evaporates. It just like water on a hot rock. It's gone, babies. It becomes vapor. Another part of creation. It's transformed in a different way. That's what's happening right now. And so, right along with you, I keep sending that love, too, to those gentle persons who are making some gentle mistakes. And I can help them get over it really quick. Because, the old egoic ways, that is based on emptiness and not fullness, cannot exist anymore because that's complete illusion anyway. It's a lie. It's a falsity. The whole premise of the Illuminati, etc., is a freaking lie, a great big illusion.
But
There's
also,
no basis. There's no
the
basis.
The Illuminati, Grandpaw, exists in each and every one of us. It's not something separate of us. We all have a shadow in us.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is, as you said earlier, what we have to work on first is ourselves,
Well, you know me.
Another level within ourselves. But that doesn't mean being a chicken and not speaking out when we need to, not being a spiritual warrior when we need to.
Oh, of course.
It's a moment-to-moment awareness, and it's a moment-to-moment, guidance of the soul and the heart on right action, whether to speak or to be quiet, to withdraw or to, move forward with the energy.
Yeah.
And so, the Illuminati is not separate to us.
No.
We are the dark and we are the light. And we have to really realize that it's not us and them anymore. There is no us and them, really.
I've honestly had past life experience, realized myself as the very god of darkness at one point in Earth's history. Yeah. I went the complete opposite in this lifetime. Holy shit. I've got this Christ-like energy on one side, and on the other side, I got the Luciferian, just as strong a dose as you'd ever, but they're balanced. They're actually in divine harmony. They're actually frickin' cosmic twins. It's incredible. The perceptions have changed that greatly inside of me. You can't imagine the conflicts I felt as a younger person going through all of that. But geez, now, here in these ripe old ages, and now I'm able not just to keep it in balance. I mean, it gets out of kilter at times, sure. But the general trend, and this is where it's flowing, is the unity thing. It's a togetherness thing. It's like we're joined in the Divine Mother's heart. We never left there. We just chose an extension and dream. You know what I mean?
And that is within us. That Divine Mother energy, the Divine Father energy, the Divine Child energy, it's all within us. And then it comes onto the outside as the holographic reality. And that reality is not fixed. It is malleable.
Oh, very.
And the energy demands and commands cooperation, well-being, co-creation, not competition anymore, fight, flight. No longer is it about domination and control. And whatever projects out of this co-creative energy, of this honoring all energy, even if we disagree with the other, those things are going to flourish. And the other constructs are literally receiving, whatever it is, whether it's power, money, structures, corporations, all of that.
Yeah, it's receding fast, just like the tide, baby. This is going out quick, you know. The more conscious people become, the less that presence has power. Already, they've, like we said last time, they've tried to start a world war a few times in the past 2 or 3 years, and it's been fizzled out every time. They start lobbing bombs at each other. They get stopped. I mean, they wanted to invade Syria. The troops refused. I was so proud of the boys when they did that. I mean,
Let me ask you a question, Grandpa. Suppose you are in a co-creative situation with somebody.
yeah,
Yeah? And you have certain parameters of that, you know. And suppose the person in so-called 3D reality cheats you. I'm taking a silly example.
yeah.
Yeah?
I've had it happen.
Let's take the extreme example. This happens all the time because it's got nothing to do with Third World War. This has got to do with, say, for example, our own lives.
Yeah.
I'm not saying your life and my life, but many of our listeners' lives have this problem.
Yeah.
And you get less homeless. You lose everything because but the people are, this has been the energy of 26,000 years. The brother, the mother, the father, the business person, everybody's cheating everybody else. Then what do you do based on the current energy, based on what you are just sharing, in a very specific example to our own lives, which is also currently happening, no matter how much we're talking about this new golden light and love, that is currently happening for many.
Well, recognize first what the people are. I mean, they're just like that dude that had me by the throat that one time. They're the same way. And they just as soon see you dead as living. They don't care about you one little bit. That's okay, at least in their conscious presence as they realize it. But you're doing exactly the right thing. You go inside. I mean, you do what you have to in the outside world.
Yeah.
I had one time a buddy, a really good friend, screwed me out of like $250,000. I mean, and I just basically, after I got over the anger, no, it took me a day or two. I just basically kissed it goodbye and let it go. I didn't sue. I had evidence. I could.
That's a brilliant answer. So, when push comes to shove and people, I'm just giving an example. I'm not getting into any specifics here, so I hope nobody jumps to any weird conclusion. I'm just saying, I'm living this earth walk in this lifetime. Every time people have cheated me, either the energy has rearranged itself so that someone has come to my rescue and pulled out those shares, very rich businessman friend of my father who was thinking which forged signatures on my shares in India when I was trying to see Satya Sai Baba, and I was only focused on seeing Satya Sai Baba. I thought this is a really close family friend. I can't fight with him. If he's done it, he's done it. I'm shocked, but I need to go. And people said no, and so they invited the directors, and then in the end, the director, I healed him, and he sent me straight to the front line with Satya Sai Baba, and I got my money back. But if I can't do that and it's not organic and synergistic and easy, I usually let it go. I say, okay, you take everything, but you can't take my freedom.
No, you can't take your freedom. You can't take your energy. And even though they got the money, they didn't get the recognition they were looking for, and it turned sour in their hands too. I watched that company go bankrupt. I mean, I didn't.
What happens is, as soon as I do that, the next step is a bigger door opens for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus you got the richness, the rightness.
Heart and purity and sincerity, and I wouldn't cheat somebody. The bigger door opens for me.
Yeah, but look at it this way too. You got the richness of all that experience. You got all the connections with all these people that you made. I mean, it's just like you just you carry the wealth from there. You're the one that got away with everything. You know what I mean? You got it all. They don't have shit.
Exactly.
They got a few digits in.
And at the end of the day, would one, so for me and for you, Grandpa, I really feel, if I may speak on your behalf here, that what I'm understanding is that we're like little divine children. We are.
Yes.
And what we enjoy is the co-creation. We enjoy the play, the creativity, the service, the co-creation, the joy. And if within that, the sandcastle is kicked at night, or, it gets destroyed, or somebody steals it, then that is that. Of course, you feel bad maybe for a day or 2 days, maybe 6 months, whatever it is, and then you move on into the next aspect of divine play. So for me now, I'm telling my mom I want to come to India and maybe make a film with the Dalai Lama, on the Dalai Lama, but in a very kind of human way.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And move on to my next creative play, because that is what is the joy. And then, or obviously, if I can create something that helps the raising of consciousness at the same time, well, then that's what, as a bodhisattva, my life is about.
Yes.
So, and then you're always covered, really.
Yes. Wow. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Thought I'd lost you there for a sec. I was kind of lost my sec. I was going with that flow, and I didn't know quite what to say. But it does, we like...
To have a pause is important sometimes. The pause is very important because when you and I speak, Grandpaw, we're not just speaking. We are carrying energy behind the words. And
oh,
this
absolutely.
is happening for all of humanity out there, except you and I are more conscious of that. And so, the pauses are very important. And so in between co-created projects, if we have a pause, that's also very important because that's the nothingness energy I talked about in our last show together, the Rashmi show. That nothingness energy is the pause, it's the silence, it's the void, it's the black hole energy from which all new multiverses, new co-creation can happen.
Yeah.
If the womb of the mother was full of stuff that maybe couldn't be born, you have to have that emptiness for somethingness to be born out of that.
It just, it expands right into it, yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And this is how we got to live our life. It's just in a conscious sort of way, so that in every moment we're present, no matter if we're being cheated or rewarded or anything in between, supported or hated, pushed out, whatever. We got to be in this space where, you can look back and find the richness in it. Live it in the moment right now, because this is your birth, this is your death, this is your life. It's all right here in this very moment. There's no difference between those moments, really. It's a flow that creates experience.